Hi
everyone. This is a Mother's Day project, as you can see, MOM. And what you're going to need for this project is this little flower plate. You're going to need 2 M's or an O if you don't want to do this, but it's what you're going to need for this. You're going to need $23.89, which is Sammy Salmon, and $23.00, which is Polar Bear. And you're gonna need a brush. You need a couple of brushes, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm gonna use this, and you're gonna need a sponge. I am gonna use this one because I don't care for the fan as much, so I'm gonna use this. And you're also gonna need this. You don't have to have this, but I'm going to give you the option of it. It's just a piece of foam, and it's just cut like to a square, so it kind of fits this here. Okay, and that's it. Now we're going to get started. You need coffee, maybe. You need glasses, maybe. Okay. You want to cover the plate with Sammy Salmon. Put a second coat in the center. Okay, now we're gonna put this aside and let it dry. You don't ever want to, I'm gonna wipe off the edge, but you don't ever want to wipe off the edge while it's still wet, because you're gonna defeat the purpose. It'll just take more of it off even in the crevices. So let that dry, and we're gonna paint this, the M's. Just gonna do one coat on everything for now. Okay, I'm gonna go back and put a second coat on this. Just a smooth, even coat. A little more careful with the second coat. Try to get it on a little more even. Okay, for this next step, you're gonna need water, because now you're gonna take some of this off. You wanna kind of leave it in the crevices. Use this part of the sponge, the edge of the sponge when you're getting down there, the center area. If you get some off the center, you can just reapply it anyway. I'm actually gonna go around the center like first, so that I can just wipe the rest. sort of stays in the crevices, so try not to rub it all out of there. Even if you go up and down, it stays in there because they're pretty deep. Usually I go across so that it doesn't take it out, but these are pretty deep, so it doesn't really matter that much. All right, now you get a nice clean sponge. Let's do it a little bit better. Keep getting the color out of your sponge so that it doesn't just keep putting it back on. I leave the edge, the color on the edge, because I want some on the edge. I'm even going to put some color back in it. Now, I want you to take this, the center, and have you wipe it off. I'm going to put some back on. But then it just stays a little deeper in the crevices. Okay, you're gonna let that dry. Okay, now we're gonna go back to the M's. They're dry. And this is what we're gonna do with this. We're gonna use the polar bear now. And so we're gonna put white on the edges. And I'm gonna do something with this little foam piece that's cut. So I'm going to take a smaller brush and I'm going to put a coat of white on here, polar bear, just one coat down the side. This is optional. You can just leave it like this and fire it like that so you see a light bit of the color underneath. Or you can take this and now this is what I'm going to do with that. Do you see how I did that? It's just very, very simple and quick. So I just kind of went back and forth with it. I'm going to do it on the whole thing, on the whole outside, okay? It's just to give it some different look rather than just solid. It's a little harder to get in the middle. So I'm just putting one kind of quick coat on here. And then I'm doing that to make, you'll see just gives it a different look. You'll see that. You can wipe this off as you go along. You don't have to make any fancy, you could do a pattern if you want, but I like to just kind of do it messy. It dries kind of quick, so you don't want to, do the whole thing and then try to do the whole thing at once. That's why I'm doing sections. I sort of like go back and forth like little X's or something just to do it a little bit different. There's no wrong way to do it. You see it a little better now doing this side. It's hard to see when I'm doing the inside. So you put that one coat and just kind of go back and forth. As you do it, you'll see that you still have some on your little sponge thing here, the little foam thing. So you're going to see that there's, that's what's making the design a little bit different. So that's it. So that's it. It's going to come out like that. Now I got to do the inside. which is a little harder to get at, so you're not going to get at the bottom. So when you're doing the inside, you're going to have to go to, you're going to have to do like that whole inside. We're going to fix the top part of this after. Otherwise, it's not going to be able to get in there very good, so. Now, if you wanted to, you could leave these, the outside solid, and do this technique to the top side, to the whole top instead. Just the other option to do. You won't be laying down because this, it won't be laying it down because this thing stands up, so you don't have to do those bottom parts. On this, you gotta kind of go in from each side. If you feel it doesn't look right on the inside, you can take a brush and just get a little off. That's good. I think that's it. So I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to do this one. Actually, we may, just to show you the difference, I think I'm going to do the top of this one like that instead of the side, just so you can see what it's going to look like. If you want to do this instead. This is the top. This one I'm doing the whole thing just because it's going to go so quick when you put it on. It goes on kind of quick. So you're doing the one coat. I'm actually going to lay this down to do this. And like I said, it dries quick, so you got to be kind of fast. Wipe some off if you have to. So you just want enough to show underneath, but not a lot. Okay, so you'll see that one fired and the other one fired and the difference. Now, I'm going to move this. I am going to take the brush and I'm going to solid coat. On this one, I'm going to solid coat the other side, because I want this side now to be solid. This makes it very easy. Because of the nice sharp edges, you can go right to the edge with the brush easily without messing up. So now in this one, this is going to be solid, the outside. So, depending on how heavy-handed or light-handed you are, you might want to put on even another coat of the solid if you really want it real solid. I've already got a couple of coats on here, so I think this is going to be enough. So that's that. You can see it's a little dry now. You can see the top's got the dimension, you know, and then it's solid all around the edge. Now this one, because we did this on the edge instead of on the top, we're going to make this top one solid. So you want to put that on another coat or two on this top side. So see, okay, So that one, so that's why these two are gonna look a little different. I am gonna, when this dries, I am gonna put another coat on this just to make sure it's nice and solid. But now, we're gonna go to this one. Okay, now, with the flour, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some, we're gonna do this here white, okay? And we're gonna go over some Polar Bear. Get my glasses back on. So now, you're gonna do a couple of coats of the Polar Bear. Now it's okay to go over the white, a little over the peach salmon color, because you're still gonna see through it, because you're not doing tons of coats and you're not, you know, you don't have to worry about it. You're gonna still see it. That's the whole idea of antiquing it underneath. You could avoid those spots a little bit if you want, but I kind of go over, at least with the first coat, I kind of go over it a little bit. Sometimes I shade it in after too, a little, just to make sure it shows up. But we want this outside more white than the bisque. You could just dip it like this if you wanted, but I like it to be really white. I'm doing the edges a little bit too, but we're gonna put some Sammy Salmon in those little petals. So this is one thing you don't want to be doing, like with a big soft fan brush just to cover it, because you want to be careful about it. You want to go all in one direction. You know, you want to, you know, cover it carefully. You don't want to just glob it on, because then you are going to cover up all your lines. Okay, now I'm going to start my second coat, okay? Because you want to have at least 2 coats on here of this. Like I said, you don't got to get in these little spots here because of the petals. Just to give it some contrast, I'm going to go over those with the Sammy Salmon. So this coat, the second coat's going to give it a nice, you know, white look. Trying to make the white daisy. Like I said, this this plate you can use for anything, because it's like those Gerber daisies. You can do any color that you can make it in. You can make it a sunflower. You can make it a daisy, especially a Gerber daisy, because they have, you know, the bigger centers and they're all different colors. And now, even as I'm doing this, I'm leaving that edge with the Sammy Salmon color on it. Now, if you want to still show some of the Sammy Salmon on even the petals underneath the white area here, you can just do the 1 coat and be done, but I'm doing 2 because I don't want that to show up as much. I want it to be mostly white on these petals. Okay, this is the last one that I got the 2 coats on. Okay, now we're going to take a smaller brush. So just do the brush as you're comfortable with. This one's a small, this is a number 4 round. And I'm going to take this brush and I am going to I'm going to do these edges. I'm going to put a little bit of color in each one of these. Now, if you find this brush is too big, now this does go over the edge, so you don't have to worry about it, just like this, okay? If you find this brush is too big, you can just use a smaller brush. This is just going to give it a little bit more contrast on the edge. You can use this. This is like this is a Moderna 3/0, so it's a very small, almost like a detail brush. So now you can go in there if you want with that, if that's easier than the bigger brush, because it's just a small area. I'm in this nice little private room at Gear now that I'm back inside painting instead of painting at home. I'm in this nice little private room. It's really Jamie's room that she uses for photography. It's now a video room. It's nice. I can come in here and shut the door. Don't have to hear Robert talking or do anything. And you don't have to listen to me. Especially talking. He wouldn't like it. I gotta make sure I don't go past my thing. My third coat, I'll be putting in next coat. All right, I think I'm just about there. I think that was it. All right, now I'm gonna show you a little bit of the side load shade, because I'm gonna do that with these edges because I want a little more color in here, okay? So what you're gonna need with that is you need the side load shade. You need a brush maybe. I'm gonna do this size, which is, I think this is a number, I must use it a lot, it's worn right off, but I think this is like a number 6 or 8. And I'm gonna put a little bit of color here. You have to have a nice clean piece of color to do this. You want water, and you want a towel, paper towel. So you're gonna wet dab. I've been doing this for years, and you're gonna slide the brush, side slide. So see, the rest of the brush has water in it. When you slide it, you're only getting color on one side, and the rest is water, so it kind of flows. So I'm gonna do this right on the edge here. Okay, see the difference? Now you can do it a couple of times before you have to load it with water again. Do you see the difference in there? So you wet dab, side slide, and then you go in right in the crevices there. You can side load shade anything. Works great with acrylics too. Now see, I'm kind of loading it twice before I go back into the water. Now can you see the difference already just in these 3 compared to these? So now you already have color from when you antiqued it and wiped it off. You already have color underneath there. So that's why you don't need much of this. Now that I'm at work, working in-house, I get to do samples before I show you this. I get to do a sample of it and kind of test things out and see how it comes out. It was harder to do that from home. So as you can see, so this has already been, I already know it works. Okay, so right back to the beginning. You don't have to do any other coats on that. That's it. You see how pretty it looks? Okay, now I'm gonna take this here because I want it a little darker, okay? So I'm gonna take a little bit of a bigger of a brush and I'm gonna put another coat on this. Make sure I get it right to my edge there. Because I want this dark. I don't want it solid because I like the little circles to show up in it. So I'm not gonna do it solid, but I am gonna make sure I get it darker. It's kind of good to do that last too, because in case you get any white on it. Now that's it, I want that covered. Now if I want to, sometimes I'll go, because the center I want a little bit darker, sometimes I'll put a little bit extra in the center and just drag it out. So it kind of gradually gets darker. It's just little things that make it a little more special, I guess. And that's it. Make sure you get your edge here if you got any white in there, so it's nice around here. And that is about it with the plate. So now you got the plate, you got the mom, and you'll get to see which one you like better, if it's on the outside or the inside once it's fired. Once you see, when you're looking at the fired piece, you can see which one you want to do, the edge that way or solid either way. And that's all, folks. Okay, catch you later.